Hello, this is Reverend Mary Huber, and I'm here to share with you today something about spiritual muscle. No, children are the greatest gift in this and any other life. If you were fortunate to have your own, you are really blessed. However, not everyone has that opportunity, but I pray that they can remember their experience as a small child, or maybe witness an infant growing in those early months and moving around, first crawling, and then with effort pulling self up using the furniture in the room. And then they steady themselves. And what a miraculous time it is when that little one lets go and takes tentative first steps. The adults try not to interfere, but are surrounding and encouraging so that the little one won't hurt themselves. But the child must do this themselves if they are to grow normally and get strength to walk in life. With every step they take, their balance improves, their muscles strengthen, and before long, they are confident and able to get around and enjoy life in a way that they haven't before. Now, isn't it interesting that we are actually before God just like these children? Our Father, Mother God surrounds us, encourages us to get up on our spiritual feet and move into the world to fulfill a life of great promise. Because we have free will here on this planet, our Creator does not interfere with our decisions. We must choose to take those first steps toward God. And therefore, it will be God's plan for us in this life. Just like our physical parents, God is joyful when we make progress and will give us the necessary equipment and help to move even further ahead. However, each step of the way has to be our choice and our own doing. I believe this situation really never ever goes away throughout eternity. Our journey upward and onward is always to take steps higher and go into levels of consciousness which we have not experienced before. But these are necessary to grow. We must be like the child all along the way, learning by doing and by trusting that God is always there. Those who are involved in their spiritual development are aware that we exist multidimensionally. We also acknowledge that there are higher levels of consciousness in which we can participate, which really exist. But like the child, we must desire it and to do the work required to acquire that level of consciousness with the dimensions that are embedded in it. It is also well known today for those who are spiritually awakened that we are moving globally as embodied souls upward in frequency from a lower third dimensional reality to the higher fifth dimensional Christ consciousness understanding of ourselves and our world. This upward movement is not just on this planet, but it's happening everywhere. This is our eternal journey and always will be so. It is said that the call of the Christ is always onward and upward. So, with this understanding, it cannot be a surprise that cosmic awareness includes this moment and is joyfully celebrated at that magnificent level. When our souls have forgotten where they came from or who we really are in those early days on the planet, we were given the opportunity to make amends for our transgressions by following a pattern set by God of three phases: atonement, redemption, and transformation. Because of the complexity of humanity as a whole, thousands of years were required to go through these phases. Humanity is at the beginning of the third phase, which is transformation. And thanks to Jesus, who volunteered to initiate the second phase of redemption, which we have gone through, and take us through it at great personal cost to him as a human, we have all arrived at a point where we know how to emulate the lessons and teachings of the Christ consciousness so that we will begin to make that ascension into the higher fifth dimensional consciousness. And as we hold fast to, but not only the concept of the teachings, but the reality of the day-to-day expression of those teachings. We have untold amount of spiritual help being given to us, particularly at this point in time. Beings of light across galaxies are supporting all of the souls existing on any plane to make their advances. The advancement is the ascension process. It can be a small leap or a great one, depending on the individual soul and its persistence and dedication to the light. It is difficult to be in a dense physical body and appreciate all of this happening around us and for us. Each of us is important in the greater scheme of things. That is also a difficult concept for many people to understand. All of life, everywhere, is precious. We are, after all, expressions of great love of our Creator. As we grow in that understanding, the task set before us become lighter and more joyfully embraced. Our perceptions and our viewpoints determine our life. Not many people recognize the light that they carry, and that light can and does overcome obstacles. We each carry a great light, not a spark, a great one. So go within and look for that light, because that is a great movement forward. The light of your higher consciousness, also called your higher creative consciousness. This is your God within you, your creator self. The light that you carry is from that creator. Now, go within, because you understand that your everyday conscious thought affects everything, which also, by the way, includes our physical form. And the physical is a much lower dimensional creation than our spiritual nature is, by the way. It does respond to the higher light that we carry by perfecting itself. That means it can heal itself. An illness exists at a much lower frequency and can be modified, healed, or even eliminated by seeking your necessary medical help as well as attuning to or going within to your higher frequency light that you hold within. These are the abilities that you have. And we promote that through prayer and meditation and constant positive thoughts. If each of us would deny the world's view, which exists at levels of consciousness where fear and limitations abound, and instead live at the level of faith in God, where all things are possible, and where we acknowledge our total dependence on our Creator, we would all make a healthier, happier life for ourselves and all around us. It is absolutely critical that we hold to our faith in God and God's promises to us. These difficult, tumultuous, and confusing times will pass, and a new world of love and faith will be formed. Life will be treasured, and respect for ourselves, each other, and the environment will then be the order of the day. It would be very helpful to listen to higher vibrational music, send out loving, helpful thoughts, and ask for the gift of discernment so that you will not be led astray. We must find the truth and honesty in everything that presents itself to us. Remember to be very grateful to be who you are, where you are, and for what you have been given. It is so important that we do not judge another. Instead, pray for them. Embrace one another whenever possible. A physical hug is much more powerful than we imagine. The physical dimension is a very powerful and elevating experience when we lift our own consciousness to higher frequencies, because that is what you're going to be sharing very, very clearly with the other individual. This is the time to remember our ascension process and participate in it every day. It is not an annual event. You have been given gifts to use in this life. So allow your own higher creative consciousness to help you to exhibit these gifts in the world. And you will be creatively fulfilled and much happier person. Thank you.